bring it up for Ohio State.
You've waited all day for this.
Go with that team stealing away. He's going to take it to the house. 85 yards. Down the right side going Devin Smith. Got it at the 5 and into the end zone. Touchdown.
The one show that's nothing but the Buckeyes.
Oh, Graham Rucker for the touchdown. Graham shoots it high on the right for 3.
This is the Buckeye Show.
Indeed, it is the Buckeye Show. I'm Tito. Dane Sanzenbacher to my right. Been a hot minute I've seen you, my friend. How are you?
I'm great, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well. I don't know who was doing that Sports Center update. The end did not sound very Bodie-esque. You had a little FM DJ kind of hits 101.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
That's a good thing,
okay.
Bodie. It just shows you. You know what it does? It shows your range. That's what it does. It shows your range. You could be producer. You could also be host.
I could be anything.
Of 97 Rock.
He's just been turning up the sauce a little bit as we go.
Yeah, I know.
Bodie Wells, and then the sauce goes up.
Yeah,
I like it, and he does it live.
He's grown up, and he's grown up, and he's grown up. Big show lineup for you today. We got some Ohio State football sound. Ryan Day and a couple of the coaches spoke with the media. Adam King from 10 TV is going to join us here in the next segment around 6:15 or so. There's some coaching changes in the Big Ten, and we're going to talk also about what football teams in the Big Ten are looking to be much improved in 2025. But let's get started here talking about the Ohio State, Ryan Day coming off the national championship winning season and wholesale changes on the coaching staff, not just personnel, but also in the roles of some of these people. So, and probably the one that is the most interesting to me is the Matt Patricia hire.
Mm-hmm.
And Matt Patricia, going back to the college game and trying to kind of, I guess, I don't know if he'll be here long term or not. It could be a 1-year thing again. If he has an outstanding season, you could see him maybe get an NFL job if that's what he wants to pursue. But here, Ryan Day was talking about what it's like in getting to know in his time he spent so far with Matt Patricia.
A lot of energy, building relationships right now, just getting started. But I think the feedback from our players has been good. I think they really enjoy the conversation, the extra time that they get a chance to spend some one-on-one time with Matt. His experience and credibility speaks for itself. I think they know that, but now they're getting a chance to meet him, and I think it's been great. I think we've gotten great feedback from the recruits as well, who have had a chance to meet with him, and we're just starting to dive into some of the different things that we can do on defense, and there was a couple good things today. So we'll see. Again, just a couple weeks in, but again, I look at the staff chemistry and then chemistry with the players, and so far that's been really solid.
I've got to feel like this is going to be his most challenging year. I know you come off the national championship, but having that many people to replace both on the field and on the sidelines is, I believe in Ryan Day, and I'm on board with the coaching hires, but it's going to be, I think it's going to be, with opening with Texas too, which is 159 days away, 159. It's gonna it's something to watch for this year.
I've never been a huge believer in spring ball in that you learn all that much, but this year it may be as important as ever. I think because you're and maybe across the country because you're having to replace so many people are dealing with new rosters. Usually, at least a decade ago, spring ball always felt like, an obligation. Like everybody, it's like a new roster, maybe guys left, so you're trying to see who's who, but it was generally the same team. With how much things change every year now, I think, as the coaches look at spring ball differently and they want to maybe make it less about showing off their guys, but I think it might start being as important as ever just to see what kind of continuity you got and introducing these coaches and getting people to mesh together.
That's an interesting take. I've spent so much time debating whether spring football, like spring games, should even take place at all. And I've railed against. I think that they should. I said this yesterday when I was with the Veer, but I would rather just get rid of spring ball altogether. Just start earlier, camp earlier before the season starts. Like do that and let it go into it because. I don't know. The spring ball, it just doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense to me because you have all that time off after that.
It used to,
Yeah.
but now, when you're looking at a whole brand new thing of college football and it's getting more and more competitive and it's more about building those rosters, you can definitely see this kind of going by the wayside and just becoming, I mean, like everything else, it seems to be going more towards a professional calendar. And you got, essentially OTAs. You got, has a specific purpose to see what we have. But, the game was always kind of a fun sideshow thing, but I could definitely see kind of getting away from that.
Right.
But so the Matt Patricia thing that'll be an interesting one to see how it plays out as much as we can in the spring.
Right.
What I do like that I've heard from Coach Day and really about the guys that he's brought in, they don't expect it to be this wholesale change. Yeah. It's not like they plan to bring Matt Patricia in and he's got this brand new defensive philosophy.
Right.
Listening to them talk, it sounds like, hey, they talk to them up front. It's like, we've got something built here that we want to keep. We want your expertise, your experience, but building on what we already have. So I think that's encouraging that that's the biggest challenge, I think, in this version of college football, is to have something and build on it. Whether it's your, and anymore, it kind of has to be a philosophy more than it is players, because you don't know who you're going to have. Yeah,
why I have confidence in it is the fact that the culture is not changing. Like the culture that Ryan Day has created there, that doesn't change. I know I do people coming in, but it's from the top down, and I think that I noticed when they hired Knowles adopted a lot of the same kind of word speak that Day would do. Like they would, Day would always say, if we lose, it's my fault. And Knowles came out in like one of his first press conferences, or might have been his second, early ones, and said, look, I'll coach the guys up. If they do great, they should get all the credit. If they make mistakes, put that on me. And that's kind of like, that's not going to, none of that stuff's going to change.
Well, they have such a benefit from stability. Yeah. And you heard Ross Bjork talk about it. And that's what another huge challenge right now is stability in any program. If you have a guy, a head coach, and a staff that's been together for this long, you already have a leg up. Yeah. So you're looking at the Patricia hire like, okay, what is he bringing? And I think a huge part of it is what you heard in that clip. He's talked to the recruits. Yeah. You know how much credibility you bring when you've won some Super Bowls? Oh, yeah. I mean, it's talking to high school kids. Yeah. So I think there's a lot of positives to having a guy like that, both in the building and a guy like that seems to be willing to step in and know his role. Yeah.
Yep. I totally agree with that. And I'm excited about to see where that will go. We got more sound we're going to play because Ryan Day did say something interesting, I thought, about Brian Hartline and where he may be positioned during a game, but we'll do that next. We're going to play that next, and also Adam King's going to join us. This is the Buckeye Show, 97.1 The Fan.
If you miss a live show, you can catch the podcast. If you miss the podcast, our hosts have volunteered to have dinner with you.
Ma, the meatloaf!
The Fan.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is, fast for cash. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating. You're overwhelmed. You might not be big on technology, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Maybe you've gone through a divorce or a bad breakup or a relative moved out. It's been hard, and you just want to take what you want and leave the rest behind. I will help you. Retiring and want to sell your commercial properties or land. I will help you. Sellers, whether you're selling as is or selling for top dollar, you're no longer alone. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Health insurance companies are expected to carry health benefits, but CareSource does so much more. We look beyond doctors' offices and hospitals to see the challenges that face our members. Then we help them achieve not just better health, but better lives. Along with great benefits, we also help our members find stable jobs, housing, childcare, and rides so they can find greater independence. At CareSource, we're removing barriers, we're improving lives, we're reimagining healthcare.
Add some spice to your pizza night with Donato's new Smoky Hot Honey Pizza and Smoky Hot Honey Chicken Sub. bringing hardwood smoked bacon, wood-fired chipotle seasoning, and Mike's hot honey together for savory, smoky, sweet heat perfection. Now get $4 off a large smoky hot honey pizza using promo code SMOKY. More toppings, more flavor, more fun. Donato's. Gotta love more.
This promo is for anyone who likes baseball or America or Terry Francona's scooter. The Reds are on the Fan. Catch all 162 games here on the Fan and 1460 ESPN Columbus and the Fan's HD2. Your home for Reds baseball, the Fan.
Buckeye Nation, join us on April 13th at the 2025 Ohio State Four-Mother, presented by Union Home Mortgage, the Ohio Beef Council, and Raising Cane's. This is your chance to run down the tunnel and finish on the 50-yard line at Ohio Stadium. A portion of the proceeds benefit the Buckeye Cruise for Cancer. This is something you won't want to miss. Register today at ohiostatefourmiler.com. Go Bucks!
They're trained. They're fired up.
Let's do it.
When you need heat, they can't be beat. They're Ohio State's undefeated heating and cooling team. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Hey, Ohio State fan, are you ready for game day? Get hyped and get your crew going with the Buckeye Meal at BK. For $20, you'll get one juicy flame grilled Whopper sandwich, one original chicken sandwich, 2 mouthwatering cheeseburgers, 3 crispy golden small fries, and 3 refreshing small drinks. Grab your $20 Buckeye Meal today and share the taste of victory. At BK, have it your way. You rule. Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. Tax extra. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint with their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind. It's a front row seat to the big game. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen, and so big you won't believe it. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Plenty of sunshine, but really windy out there on this Monday. Temperatures in the low to mid-50s. Overnight will keep the breezes up. Temperatures down to the mid-30s with partly cloudy skies. A couple of showers possible Tuesday, but not a washout. Otherwise, partly sunny, light winds and highs in the low 50s. With your 10 weather impact forecast, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jerry Martz on The Fan.
College radio done by professionals. This is the Buckeye Show.
It is the Buckeye Show. And I think now, with the Dave King era behind us with the Columbus Blue Jackets, of like way back in our rearview mirror, I think Adam King might be the most popular King in Columbus.
You've never met my father.
What's your father's name?
Kevin.
Kevin King.
Kevin. I mean, this just sounds like an author, right?
Does he live here?
He lives in the great city of Westerville.
Okay.
And he could run for mayor of Westerville.
Really?
Yeah. Everybody. And he's the guy that waves at everybody, you know?
Is that an age thing? You get to a certain age, I think, where you wave
everybody know everybody. I used to do this thing where sometimes, I was with my buddies. We called it the double honk game. You just drive by some guy mowing his lawn. You give the old double honk. He'll wave at you. Yeah. He doesn't know who you are. And then he'll spend the next hour going, who do we know that drives a Kia Sedona that's silver, honey? Do we know? But I think I saw Tom. Tom drove by.
That's I think the waving thing is an age thing. Because my dad does it also. Okay, so you're out of practice today, and I wanted to play this clip from Ryan. I thought this was an interesting clip that I heard, and I wanted to get you guys to react to it, please, if I can find it here. Here we go.
It's a comfort level of what you're seeing, and then there's I liked when I was just calling it to be down on the field because I could look him in the eye. But I also like to be around the quarterback and talk to the quarterback. I think if all things are equal and you had a veteran quarterback, you can see more up top. You can be more organized. It's almost like playing a video game. You're detached from it all. And you can think a little clearly. You don't get caught up in the emotion of the game. You lose a little bit of looking somebody in the eye and see how things are going down there during the game. But it's a little bit of a feel. So I think as time goes on, we'll kind of let Brian try to figure that out, and we get into the preseason, we'll do some scrimmaging in the stadium. The spring game will probably be a little bit of a snapshot for him, but I'll leave it up to him on that decision.
So that was Ryan Day, and I didn't set it up well, so you had to listen to the whole thing to figure out what he was saying. But
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, I actually don't know what this is about, and it could have been about anything.
Okay, well, I was going to play the game of what it was about. Tito.
You were out there, yes. You did.
Yeah, but Tito, I knew what it was.
Yeah, you knew what it was about.
Don't let Dane be hard on you. Okay?
So it was him talking about Hartline maybe coaching or calling plays from field level, which is obviously different than what Chip Kelly was doing. He was up in the booth. Up there in the stands, or up there in the booth up there calling the plays from there. And I'm curious, are either of you surprised that Hartline might be down on the field?
No, and I think the big reason why is because we were in this exact predicament 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. When it was considered in the spring that Hartline was going to call the plays, the discussion was, where is Hartline going to be? Now, it is not a discussion this time around. Hartline is calling the plays. That time it was a trial thing. But Hartline had said that he likes to be on the field because he likes to be with his guys. He likes the moments, as you heard Ryan say, looking into someone's eyes, judging the game, feeling the emotion of the game, being able to talk to his guys in between series. He wants that. So I'm not surprised. I do think that this sounds weird. It's a lose-lose either way, but there's positives for both. I mean, losing Brian Hartline off the sideline is tough, but losing Brian Hartline, not having an offensive coordinator in the booth is also tough. So it's really it's a predicament that they're just going to have to pick one and go with it.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what kind of the percentages are. It seems like most play callers are upstairs.
Yeah, in the booth.
That's what it feels like. I don't think Tressel kind of did it by committee a little bit. We did have an offensive coordinator, but he was still kind of involved in the play calling. I think Coach Day touching on it, saying it's a comfort thing, and I'm sure that he would probably lean to whatever he's most comfortable with. He likes to be on the field, but I mean, man, you tell me, Adam, you've watched games from really both perspectives. You can feel I feel like being up in the booth would be a comfort level for me because you can actually see what's happening if you're calling the plays. There's times when I'm on the sideline, I don't know what the heck's going on.
You know what? You're spot on with a couple things. Being on the sideline, there's really nothing like it because you can feel that emotion in a way that is just unreal. I mean, it's just on top of you. The whole stadium's on top of you. You can see the guys, even when we're just, behind the bench, you can see the emotion. You can hear the fire in the guys. But being up in the booth, there are, I would say, 80% of the time during a season where a play is breaking down or playing out, and I'll say, "Oh, touchdown," because you can see it develop.
Yes,
you can't see that on the field because you're trying to look through 22 guys running around. When you're up top, Ryan makes a good point. It's like a video game.
It is.
You can see the routes better. You can see the coverage better. But I do think there's something to be said for a 4th and 1 walking off the field and say your guys didn't get it, looking them in the eye and saying, hey, let's get it together. We're fine. We can keep going, as opposed to hearing some guy over a walkie-talkie say, hey, guys, we're going to be okay.
See, but I think, though, that I'd want my OC up there and have enough trust in the other coaches of positions to either relay to me up in the booth if he sees something like, hey, this guy's head's not into it, or, this guy's, you can tell like the energy's lower on this guy, whatever. But I think that as much as Hartline probably wants to be down there on the field and with the guys, I feel like it's part of the promotion.
Yeah, it's a good way to put it. I mean, it's certain you have to lose something to gain something in here.
Right.
And you're right. I mean, I would say it's probably 95% of offensive coordinators. I was trying to think back. Ryan was in the booth for most of.
I can't even remember that far back.
But then I see old pictures of him on the sideline, so I can't remember if he was in the booth or not. But
almost everyone I ever played for was upstairs. We see him at halftime. Come down, make your adjustments. I kind of underestimated it because I was never up there. Obviously, as a player, I'm watching everything from the sideline. It wasn't until recently when I started to go in the booth to call high school games for 97.1 that I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
You can actually see everything play out. I kind of underestimated it. And if I was going to call plays, I'd want to see it. I want to be emotionally detached.
I got to believe
That's a good point.
I'm calling the plays that I think are the right ones. And
yeah, you can see the coverage is different than if you're on the field.
Yeah. See, at halftime, we'll have an orange, maybe a banana together.
Yes.
We'll talk about what happened in the first half, and we'll get back out there.
Yeah. It just seems to be that,
Is that what you were doing with your offensive coordinators? They came down. You guys were, up by 3 at half, and he's like, "You got any oranges in there?"
Apparently, that was halftime to me. I was under the impression that halftime adjustments were just a thing that media talked about. I just had bananas and oranges.
You don't have to
don't
adjust it.
recall
You're
an
good,
adjustment, but coaches
Tressel
probably did.
say something about how you just kind of walk into a halftime and it's not as much about like we as the media believe that they're in there like, all right, guys, here's what they're doing. Here's how we're going to change everything.
Maybe it is. I don't ever remember learning anything at halftime.
Well, that might be a Dane thing.
Except that you're
explains a lot. We're going to look at your first half numbers versus second half numbers.
I did learn that you're supposed to open the banana from the other side. I did learn that at halftime. That's an adjustment.
That's an adjustment.
Do you think you were a better first half player or second half player? If we looked at your stats, would you prove would it hold water that you were a better first half player than a second half player?
I don't think the stats would determine.
Okay.
It depended. If we were up a lot at halftime, then we probably weren't going to throw the ball that much in the second half.
Fair.
We weren't in the Tressel days. We weren't big about running up the score. We would just,
win
by a couple.
Yeah.
So that would affect it. Sometimes you get cold after halftime, second half. You know.
Did you ever get
thin skin?
Did you ever get annoyed by Tressel ball? Like as fans, not annoyed. Like, listen, Jim Tressel is one of the greatest coaches of all time. But as fans, there would be times you'd be up 10 points with 9 minutes to go, and you start running. You hand the ball to Beanie. You're like, all right, come on, let's go score another touchdown.
Yeah, it wasn't in the entertainment business. But I think it does no, I never got annoyed with it, but I also never got annoyed with play calling. I was just so locked in on what my job was, and did I do it or not? I was like, that's somebody else's job to call the plays. I don't trust them. You want to run it, you want to throw it. But I think that's become the narrative. But if you look, when he had to throw the ball, there was times when he threw it around.
Yeah.
Like 06, 1-2, the year before, I think they ran the ball like a zillion times.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like a 10-13 game. Okay, when they came to Columbus and you had all that firepower on offense, they threw the ball all over the place. I don't know what the passing numbers were, but so they adjusted when they had to.
You've got a nice Rose Bowl ring, don't you?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah, you have a nice Rose Bowl ring.
I was trying to remember
said that like he forgot.
No, I was
like
trying to
it's
remember
not his prized
It's like
possession.
how many rings he's won.
I was trying to remember if I sold it or not. I'm kidding, guys.
We're not investigating.
I'm kidding. I have
Rose
it.
Bowl was the epitome of Tress saying we're going to throw it. Everybody came out thinking they were going to run the ball, and it was going to be fast Oregon versus running defense or running Ohio State. And Trell came out just letting it fly.
It was like the first 13 plays or something were pass plays. I remember because I had 9 catches and for a total of like 40 yards.
So you were first half guy.
No, it was throughout the game.
Okay.
Don't try to label me.
You don't know this, but one of my favorite moments from the Buckeyes championship runs this year came from this man right here. Who have you ever told him that you never saw the Jack Sawyer play when it happened?
Oh no, but that was our moment. That was our shining moment.
He didn't.
He heard it on the radio.
I was down here because they had me doing post game for 10 TV, so I was right outside here, and I was listening to. I was like, gosh, I'm going to have to listen to this game, and it felt like I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to lose, and I'm going to listen to it on the radio.
Right.
The play happened right here when I was pulling into the station, and I didn't get like a good. Because if you listen, just like if you're first time listening back to Paul Keel's call, you don't know if there's anybody in front of him.
Yeah.
Like he's counting down the yard lines, but it's just Jack, strip fumble, picks it up. And then the numbers started. And I was like, is anybody gaining on him? So I'm dying. So anyways, he makes it to the end zone. And I was by myself honking out in the street here. And I got in and I had forgotten my fob. So Adam had to let me in. So I was beating on the window. And he opened the door and just bear hugged me.
It was just one of the best bro hugs I've ever been a part of.
That was our championship moment.
It was one of the best bro hugs.
I knew it then. Yeah. They asked Coach Day I knew it then.
Yeah, that's
Then HR got involved.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that was us.
That was us.
That was us.
I think your legs lifted off the ground.
I think they did too. I felt for a second.
Yeah.
I said, and I quote, We're going to Atlanta. And then
You know what it was? It was an extra amount of joy, though.
What?
It's because you weren't there.
Yeah,
it was the game you had to stay home. So you got to go. If they won, you were going to get to go. So there was multiple levels of joy for you.
Yeah.
Why'd you get left behind?
Well, because we are. The Rose Bowl was a lot,
right?
And going out there, so it was, Nicole got a chance to go out there and have a great experience. So it was just about making sure everybody got to be a part of.
Send all you guys out there.
Yeah, well,
why not?
It was confidence. They were giving him a break because we know we got one.
We got one more.
Yeah, we got one more for sure. My friend, thanks for the time.
Hey, I just want you to know it is always a pleasure to be on with you, and Dane's here too.
I appreciate it.
And I was going to say you're always going to be at least top 10 king in the area.
Well, that's maybe the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
Behind
the Sanzenbachers that I know, you're certainly one of them.
Yeah, I was going to say I've worked with a lot of Ohio State football players. You're one of them.
You're one of them.
No.
Definitely
Nice.
top.
Always flattered when I'm with Tito.
Yes.
Usually insults me within the first 5 minutes of the show.
Never do.
Something
Didn't say
about
one word about an undersized receiver you were. That's for the first
stereotype.
time.
You know what? We'll end with this.
Yeah.
I was a huge Dane Sanzenbacher fan when he played, but I'll never tell him.
Good.
I will never tell him that.
Let's keep that between
Dude
us.
was a workhorse.
Well, I'm still a huge Adam King fan, regardless of what
Up next, spring is in the air, and so is football. So we'll play some more sound from the Ohio State coaching staff. We'll do that next. This is Buckeye Show on the Fan.
Come on over to Heartland and join our family.
Now, community banking is the lifeblood of the American financial system, building strong, lasting relationships. We're just better able to help guide you down life's road. Flexibility is paramount to success. Community banking is alive and well in the Heartland. I'm Scott McComb. Come on over to Heartland, where banking really feels good.
Where banking feels good. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Add some spice to your pizza night with Donato's new Smoky Hot Honey Pizza and Smoky Hot Honey Chicken Sub. Bringing hardwood smoked bacon, wood-fired chipotle seasoning, and Mike's Hot Honey together for savory, smoky, sweet heat perfection. Now get $4 off a large Smoky Hot Honey Pizza using promo code SMOKY. More toppings, more flavor, more fun. Donato's. Gotta love more.
No matter what you love about March Hoops, it's always mad. But we're always rooting for our Buckeyes. When you embrace a chill mindset, it's a good time to crack open a Coors Light and choose chill all tournament long. Join the ESPN Tournament Challenge presented by Coors Light for a chance to win cash, prizes, and even a flyaway trip to a mountain retreat. Just submit a photo of your broken bracket at CoorsLight.com/March Hoops. Coors Light, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. 2025 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. 21 means 21. Celebrate responsibly.
Everybody poops, everybody pees. Mommy, will you call Mr. Rooter, please? 'Cause I gotta poop and I gotta pee. Only Mr. Rooter can clear the drain for me. Thank you, Mr. Rooter.
Hi, everybody. We call it what it is at Mr. Rooter. When you have a plumbing or drain problem, the team at Mr. Rooter is ready 7 days a week. Call us today and take advantage of our $95 drain cleaning special. Visit us at MrRooter.com. We'll be there quick.
The Buckeye Show is sponsored by CareSource, proud to be your home for Ohio State Athletics. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Preseason, midseason, off-season. We keep on rolling. You've got the Buckeye Show.
Buckeye Show, Tito, Dane, Bodie with you. Thank you to Adam King for stopping over. Ohio State coaching staff sound. I thought this was interesting. Matt Patricia talking about what's important when evaluating a recruit.
I always like to look at little things, whether it's knee bend or ankle flex. That's a big one too. Just how flexible guys' ankles are, their ability to bend, keep their knees over the toes, move, break, transition, hip fluidity, back and forth. So just really try to look at the raw talent of it. And then, you can coach the other things as far as, the finish, like how are they finishing on the plays, whether it's a DB through the pocket, ball skills. Some guys are more natural when they go up and play the ball in space. So just trying to evaluate that and then, figure out where they're going to go as they do mature and get older and figure out the positions that they then can help you with.
I'm sure it's...
How's your ankle bend?
Ankle bend for me is underrated. Like, I've got the ankle bend of a defensive back.
Okay.
It's just, I've got the body of a fat person.
He didn't mention that. You're right. It's like the ankle's important, but what else we got?
Yeah. So like when
I tend to evaluate co-hosts by ankle bend as well.
Ankle bend.
And I don't think I didn't notice yours.
Hey, you know what? My next two knees will be much better than these two.
Okay.
So issues on that one as well. But it's interesting to me. Just I'm sure as a football guy that nothing he said there was maybe surprising to you, but just hearing him talk about like that specific part of the body that he evaluates.
It's very you hear that a lot with offensive, defensive line coaches, especially offensive line guys that have their eyes on the line. Yeah, it's important, and I guess it's one of those things that football guys notice.
Yeah.
You're a casual football fan. You're not. Let's be honest. You're watching the skill players.
Yeah.
But if you're in the weeds, especially with evaluating talent there, everything at those positions, whether it be offensive or defensive line, is so in the minor details. And so that doesn't surprise me, a guy like him, especially as detail-oriented as his, I was going to say resume, but as detail-oriented as appears to be, and as people said he is, that those things are things that are coming top of mind when he has to figure out fast kind of who's who and who we think can do this or that.
Here's Brian Hartline talking about the importance of running back depth this season.
Having depth at that position is really critical, whether it be at our level or the NFL level. You guys kind of see it every week, every year. It's a longer season. It's more like the NFL, frankly, from a snap count, game plan, games, opportunities. So to have depth, it's really important to keep guys healthy. And then if you do have an injury, you have guys that can step in and still carry that workload. I know we feel really good about the guys we have here, and we'll have some younger guys, that need to continue to grow and provide, that depth over time. But I think having multiple guys in that room do multiple things is always important. That's just good football.
That will be interesting this year with the running back, because they obviously are replacing a couple of gems in Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins. But so that's one of the bigger unknowns. There's unknowns on the defensive line, like the depth there and things like that. There's obviously an unknown at quarterback, but that running back room lost a hell of a lot of yards.
Yeah.
And so I'm curious if one will emerge as a lead guy this year.
Or if you even need a lead guy.
Right, yeah.
That's a good problem to have.
Sure.
It is funny, though, that there obviously are quarterback questions, but it does feel like the running back one is top of mind for a lot of people, as it should be. Because, you're coming off, one of the best seasons in Ohio State history, and largely carried by those two guys. There was stuff there, but to me, they always felt like Henderson and Judkins felt like the glue. They felt like that was a very, very important piece that you had to have and had to be going. Huge shoes to fill. And like anything else, it's almost always done by committee. So I think Hartline's exactly right. You have to have depth there. You might not know who the dudes are until week 4 or 5. And when I see dudes, who the dudes are, who's your guy? Who are the guys that are going to carry the load for you?
It was a couple of years ago when Henderson kept getting injured and missing time.
Yeah.
But this year, the fact that he had Judkins there with him, it really saved on the wear and tear on both of their bodies that they were there. And I'm not saying that Ohio State didn't learn or learn necessarily something new, but it feels like that's more the recipe that they want to have. And it's what Alabama did for years. And it's what Arkansas used to do, where you have a couple of running backs and they'd both be like first or second round picks in the NFL draft.
Yeah, it seems like it's been a wave coming for the past, decade.
Right.
5-10 years. It's been getting more and more important that running back A and B is being replaced by A1, A2.
Yeah.
This is either guy needs to be good, and you have to have two at that position. So I think they've known it. I just think they got it right last year. That's a different thing. Knowing that it's important to have two guys, but having two guys that can perform that way is another thing altogether. And I think you're absolutely right on the Travion Henderson part. Yeah. He struggled with injury, but last year he was, at least watching on TV or in person, one of the most consistently explosive players on the field at any time. When he touched the ball, it was among some of the greatest athletes in college football.
Right.
He was like notably explosive when he touched the ball. And I think that goes, I mean, that's a lot because he only had to carry half the load.
He did. And Judkins, after his first 2 years at Ole Miss, and the number of touches he had were insane. He had half of that that he normally would have this past year at Ohio State.
What I think will be a benefit to this year and a challenge that they overcame last year, but they probably won't have, is you had two guys with a lot of experience and that wanted to be the guys. It worked because you had two guys that bought in and were willing to share the load and support each other. There were some games when one played way more than the other, or at least had a lot more stats or touchdowns, but they made it work. I think this year you kind of are getting a fresh start in that you don't have to overcome any egos that may be there.
Right.
So that's a subtle benefit.
Yeah, I agree. And Hartline also talked about the leadership in the wide receiver room.
From a receiver stance, that room, I think that has some good veteran leadership. So the top of the room is well secured, and those guys are doing a really good job, and they're really deep. So we've did a good job getting a jump on the guys that just got here, some freshmen. And I think the combination of getting things going in January and kind of setting the parameters of how we operate and the expectations a little bit on again, focusing on yourself and your self-improvement really allows those first couple groups to kind of do their thing at practice.
I'm not concerned about the receivers, not concerned about the defensive backs. You know what I mean? Like those are going to be just fine. And it doesn't surprise me at all with leadership in the wide receiver room because there's been such a good procession of players coming out of this program that have passed it on to the next group and the next group,
It's the benefit of recruiting well at that position and not having to go to the portal. Because yes, you have guys that have been here, know the drill, have played with first-round wide receivers, have been in it, and are now older guys that have a huge benefit. And I mean, I think I heard that, so at least Tate and Innis maybe are gonna catch for Will Howard.
Oh, okay.
I think I heard that, which is like that's another level of experience.
Sure
You're being exposed to this environment, this setting. They're going to be the natural leaders of the room. And not have to carry the load of being the star all the time.
Right.
That's being carried by another. So, I mean, yes, I'm with you that we would really have to dig in to find. There's other question marks.
Yeah.
At this point in the year, it's not in the wide receiver or defensive back room.
Coming next, a couple of Big Ten teams made coaching decisions in basketball, and also what Big Ten teams are going to be most improved in 2025. We'll do that next. Buckeye Show on the Fan.
A lot of hosts have been on our airways in the past 30 years. Some good, some bad, some really bad. Anyway, sorry for that. The Fan.
Hey, it's Anthony, and I've got a fitting personalized for you. From the moment you walk in the Good Feet store, they're going to take the time to understand your unique lifestyle, your daily routines, and most importantly, the pain that brought you in to see them in the first place. If your feet ache after a long day or that discomfort starts radiating through your knees, your hips, your back, I've been there. The Good Feet store is going to help you where you need relief and find the arch supports that work best for you. And they're working for me. I walked all over the place in New Orleans covering the big game. I was loving it. I literally was walking for miles around the French Quarter, Canal Street, everywhere because I had my personally fit arch supports in my shoes. For more than 30 years, the Good Feet store has helped thousands of people get back to feeling comfort on a daily basis. I want you to be one of them. Go in, take the free test walk. They're immediately available. Good Feet products are proudly made in the USA on Polaris Parkway and on Stringtown Road in Grove City or goodfeet.com.
Looking for a very special way to commemorate the 9th National Championship in Ohio State football history? Then check out the beautiful Ohio State timepieces at OxiaTime.com. Oxia has created a series of heirloom quality designs to celebrate the Buckeyes, including the limited edition Ryan Day autograph box sets. Equally impressive to the quality of their products is the quality of the people behind these watches. Go to OxiaTime.com to learn more on their backstory and claim your piece of Ohio State history. That's AXIATime.com.
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint with their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind. It's a front row seat to the big game. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen, and so big you won't believe it. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Imagine yourself in a new Toyota. Now through March 31st, get 4.99 APR financing on a stylish new 25 Corolla. Or 5.99 on Corolla Hybrid. Excludes Corolla Cross and GR Corolla. Or lease a gas-powered 25 Corolla LE for $239 a month for 36 months with $32.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details. Or go to toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
Health insurance companies are expected to carry health benefits, but CareSource does so much more. We look beyond doctors' offices and hospitals to see the challenges that face our members. Then we help them achieve not just better health, but better lives. Along with great benefits, we also help our members find stable jobs, housing, childcare, and rides so they can find greater independence. At CareSource, we're removing barriers. We're improving lives. We're reimagining healthcare.
Here at The Fan, we give you 14 hours of live and local programming every day. We care about you. We live and work in your community. Except Bo Bishop. He won't tell us where the hell he is. Your live and local station. Except Bo. The Fan.
Do you realize making the minimum monthly payments on your credit cards, it'll take nearly 20 years to pay them off? What if I told you there's a way for you to get them all paid off in just a matter of weeks? Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Imagine wiping out all of your credit cards. Here's where you go. AFLcash.com. That's AFLcash.com. Advantage First Lending is the easy button for tapping in to hundreds of thousands of dollars in your home equity. That's not the bank money, it's your money. Listen, your home, the value is way up. And now AFLcash.com has a super fast, hassle-free program that lets you turn that equity into cash. People who do this are living their best life, their credit card debt free, with cash left over for other stuff like home improvements, maybe a vacation. See how much money you can get now. Go to AFLcash.com or call 844-394-CASH. That's 844-394-CASH. Say goodbye to greedy credit card companies. That's AFLcash.com.
Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1209177. Subject to lender approval. NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Patriot Air Comfort Systems in Bryant. Doing whatever it takes to keep your home comfortable. The Fan.
Tailgating is a state of mind. You are listening to The Buckeye Show.
It is The Buckeye Show, final segment of the program. Tito, Dane, Bodie with you. 7 o'clock, we'll have Jackets pregame coverage coming on. And 7:30, the Jackets are on the road taking on the Islanders. So make sure you stick around for that. Dane, a couple of Big Ten basketball hires today. It's Iowa has hired Ben McCollum from Drake to replace Fran McCaffrey. And Drake made it the second round of the NCAA tournament this year. And he is, like I say, replacing Fran McCaffrey, was fired earlier this month. This was the first season McCollum was at Drake, and they went 31-4, won the Missouri Valley Conference Tournament Championship. Before that, though, he was Division II head coach of Northwest State, won 4 Division II national championships, had a perfect record 1 year of 38-0 in 2018 and 2019. So he is taking over the Iowa program. Minnesota has hired Nico Medved to be their new head basketball coach. He was formerly with Colorado State. They lost 72-71 to Maryland in the second round of the tournament. They had won 11 straight games, won the Mountain West Conference tournament going into that game, and they'd beaten Memphis in the first round before that. So there's a couple of hires for the Big Ten schools. The portal opened today. I haven't seen any Ohio State players in there other than Austin Parker, who announced he was entering it before this. But it's going to be interesting to see how many Ohio State Buckeyes do not go into the portal. How many people stay,
I mean, that's interesting across the board. Yeah. I mean, that's anymore. That becomes the challenge. Yeah, some of those hires, you'll see some new faces in the Big Ten. These were guys that were, tossed around as kind of the hot available hires.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually those type of guys that get a lot of opportunity at these next spots. I think the challenge really across the country, but in the Big Ten specifically for schools like Iowa and Minnesota is going to be finding the financial support.
Yes.
I mean, I think the story with the previous two coaches, and at both of those places, those were long-standing coaches. You had Fran McCaffrey, who was there forever.
Yep.
And Ben Johnson, who was an alum and had been there for a long time. But I think both of them had even been public about it's hard for us to keep our best players because we don't have a way to pay them. I think it was reported Iowa had a $300,000 total NIL for their basketball team. Anymore, what can you do with that? So I think that, on some level, you make these hires and you get rid of the old guys, not because they were necessarily underperforming. I think they both proved they were good coaches.
Yeah.
As a university or as an athletic department, you need to find a way to inject enthusiasm to a donor base. And it might be that simple. I mean, you bring guys in that maybe Ben Johnson wasn't all that bad. Maybe he was doing a good job. Same thing with Fran McCaffrey. But the name of the game right now is we have to go ask people for money. They know you already.
Yeah.
But they have this unknown of this new shiny thing that they might give to. Maybe it's a cynical way of looking at it, but I mean, those two were really good coaches. But I think that's going to be part of the challenge is when these guys come in, what kind of support do then they have to build a team?
And I wonder how many coaches would go the Tom Brady route. And what I mean by that is maybe take a little bit less money with the promise that money goes into the NIL. You know what I mean? Like if they would consider, because at some point the money coaches are making, I mean, it's just, a coach is set up his family for generations with the money he makes if he's a good coach, successful coach. And I wonder if there'll be a point in time when one of them would say, look, I know the market for me is this amount of millions of dollars a year or whatever, but let's cut some of that back and infuse it into the NIL money.
I doubt it. Yeah. And it would probably be foolish for a coach to do that, to be honest, because if you're going to, I mean, it's not on you. I mean, there have been current coaches that you hear about taking a cut to maybe get another coach.
Sure.
But I think if you're talking about dipping that into the NIL, I think in reality, and you'd have to talk to somebody in an athletic department, but I think in reality, those are different pools of money altogether. I mean, I think your Nike contracts help paying your coach. These things that are outside of what's paying the athletes,
sure,
they're separated. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one to watch. How they're able to balance that, or to find players that not only are good players but fit what you're trying to do, because that's another level, and Ohio State's going to run into this too. Is it's obviously about getting good players, right? But we've seen this year, especially, how many teams paid guys huge sums, and struggled. Had great portal classes and struggled. I mean, Kansas, Indiana, Kansas State, like these teams that they got some of the best guys in the portal, but didn't fit into what they were doing. So you got to have it's a whole new world, especially in college basketball, where 1-2 guys can make a difference.
Sure.
You not only be able to get the guys, but have guys that are willing to accept a role and fit into what you're doing. Those seem to be the teams that are having success and that are still playing.
ESPN, switching gears to college football, did a panel thing with their major college football writers, and the question asked was, which team will show the greatest improvement from last season? Two of the members picked Big Ten teams. Chris Lowe said if it's the same Michigan team that finished the 2024 season, look out. He thinks that if Bryce Underwood coming at quarterbacks can give them a jolt. He said they were 8-5 last year, weren't that far off being a 10-win team against a brutal schedule, facing 6 top 12 teams, and said look for them to be in the middle of the Big Ten race in 2025. Adam Rittenberg is going with Michigan State. He knows they had a mostly rough season, it says, under Jonathan Smith, the first-year coach, but they ended up being 5-7. So they think that year 2 of that, of Jonathan Smith, will be a much better one for them. Michigan's relying an awful lot. If they're counting on Bryce Underwood to come in and be one of the reasons why they're great, that's a lot to put on. I know freshman quarterbacks or guys that come in now as freshmen, they're more polished than they were 10, 20, 30 years ago. But that's still an awful heavy burden with this other stuff, the scandal stuff, still lingering over this program.
Is it?
I think it is.
I wish it would linger a little more.
I know, so do I.
I haven't heard much about it. I think you're right. I think they're a couple of years out.
Yeah.
Because I think putting all that on one kid coming in as a freshman, that's a lot. Now, if you show something as a freshman, now it helps on multiple levels. Recruiting, portal, you can get guys that want to be on board because you have a main piece that gives you a chance. I really like the Michigan State take. I think that, they have just that. They have a young quarterback that showed promise last year. Okay, that's a big piece of giving yourself a chance. And I think a big piece anymore that we see with how big these conferences are who are you playing? And Michigan State gets the benefit of not playing Ohio State or Oregon. So, I mean, you have a good roster and a favorable schedule within your own conference. We've seen how that has helped teams when you don't have to play a couple of the top teams in the conference. So I think that gives them, a really good chance.
And Michigan State also, their two toughest opponents are Michigan and Penn State. They get both of them in East Lansing.
Yeah, that's why I really like that one is the stars are kind of aligned for them. If they can find something, they have talent that they could be set up to have a really good record at the end of the year.
They do. Yes. They're one of the teams that you would, because of the way their schedule's set up this year.
I specify that because, the record is going, who knows how much they're going to weigh it in the new version of college thing as things are changing. But it definitely helps. You want to end the year with, make them argue about who you played and who you didn't.
They open up their first three games, non-conference, all home, Western Michigan, Boston College, Youngstown State. Then they travel to USC, get a bye week, travel to Nebraska, host UCLA, at Indiana, host Michigan, at Minnesota, off, host Penn State, at Iowa, and then they play Maryland at Ford Field in Detroit. So, it does set up for them to pile on some wins, and to pad that record. And, if you win 9 or 10 games and you're a Big Ten team, you've got a pretty good shot at making the playoff.
Good chance.
Yeah,
I think that's what everybody going into the season is looking at. Now you've seen the whole thing play out.
Right.
Who knows how much it will shift? I don't know if there's been talk about, have they made any decisions on expanding it or not?
They have not made decisions on that yet. I think
whether it does
this
or
year's
not.
going to be the same, but I think after that, it would change at that point. But another team to watch for is Nebraska. They didn't impress me much last year, and certainly there was a couple games that they did not look good at all. But they get Michigan in Lincoln. They get USC in Lincoln. They've got to travel to Penn State, and they host Iowa also to end the season there. But Nebraska's another team that could sneak in there and pad some wins as well. They play Cincinnati, Akron, and who do they play? The HCU. It's I don't know which school HCU even is. Do you know who HCU is?
You make it up? Did you make that up?
Who's HCU?
Holy
Bodie.
Cross?
I don't think they have a football team though. Anyway,
Houston Christian.
That's what that might actually be it.
Hudson College University.
They play Arkansas Baptist. This HCU team. They play Eastern Kentucky, Northern Colorado. Another one, the UTRGV Vaqueros. University, whatever. Anyway, Northwestern State. So, that's not a very good opponent there in that one. The fact you don't know what their name is. What did you look it up to find it?
Is that a South Harmon Institute of Technology type school we're looking at?
Must be, yes. It's probably what it is. Yes. 24 people on the roster, probably. So, that's it for us tonight. Dane, it was nice catching up with you.
You too, sir.
Been far too long.
It has.
Bodie's had a long day today. Get used to it, Bodie. Your days are going to get longer starting July. It's going to be a shift for you. And thank you to Adam King for 10 TV for stopping in. Make sure you stick around, though. The Jackets have got to get back to their winning ways as they battle for a playoff spot. Jackets time is next and take on the Islanders here on The Fan.
hey, the best football team in the country's on the best radio station in the country. Congratulations, Buckeyes. Here's to 100 more years together. Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan.
There's one medical team in Central Ohio skilled enough to care for your favorite Ohio State team, and Buckeyes everywhere. The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is your choice for the most highly specialized orthopedic and sports medicine care. Our surgeons, physicians, and physical therapists have access to the most advanced treatments and innovative recovery approaches to get you back in your game. Because on or off the field, our team is your team. The choice for your orthopedic care is clear.
Things are popping at Al's Delicious Popcorn. With over 80 flavors to choose from, we have something for everyone. From classics like caramel cashew, white cheddar, and our famous vanilla butternut to new flavors like chicken and waffles and spicy barbecue. They are all made fresh and they are all delicious. Visit us online at alspopcorn.com or come see us and experience the best service in town at 1500 Bethel Road in Columbus. Al's Delicious Popcorn.
Hey, Ohio State fan, are you ready for game day? Get hyped and get your crew going with the Buckeye Meal at BK. For $20, you'll get one juicy flame grill Whopper sandwich, one original chicken sandwich, 2 mouthwatering cheeseburgers, 3 crispy golden small fries, and 3 refreshing small drinks. Grab your $20 Buckeye Meal today and share the taste of victory. At BK, have it your way. You rule. Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. Tax extra. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Buckeye Nation, join us on April 13th at the 2025 Ohio State Four-Mother, presented by Union Home Mortgage, the Ohio Beef Council, and Raising Cane's. This is your chance to run down the tunnel and finish on the 50-yard line at Ohio Stadium. A portion of the proceeds benefit the Buckeye Cruise for Cancer. This is something you won't want to miss. Register today at ohiostatefourmother.com. Go Bucks!
That's are us. When dreams sunk in, that's are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 380-225-BATH.
That's are us. When dreams sunk in, that's are us.
No matter what you love about March Hoops, it's always mad, but we're always rooting for our Buckeyes. When you embrace a chill mindset, it's a good time to crack open a Coors Light and choose chill all tournament long. Join the ESPN Tournament Challenge presented by Coors Light for a chance to win cash, prizes, and even a flyaway trip to a mountain retreat. Just submit a photo of your broken bracket at CoorsLight.com/MarchHoops. Coors Light, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
2025 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. 21 means 21. Celebrate responsibly.